Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. The weather out here has been absolutely beautiful of late in the Northeast. It's been absolutely lovely fall thus far. We're getting ready for a winter, I'm sure, but I just had to comment on the latest threat coming from Elon Musk because this is just so huge for the emergence of a parallel economy that's been in the works now for the last few years that I know many of you are excited about. So you may have heard, we talked about it a bit on yesterday's video, but Musk tweeted out an announcement yesterday that Twitter had a massive drop in ad revenue due to what he called activist groups pressuring advertisers to boycott Twitter. Now, of course, these are far left agitators trying to hurt Twitter financially. And Musk was just beside himself because, he commented on how ridiculously messed up this is, because in the end, all these activists are ultimately trying to do is destroy free speech in America and around the world. These activists, as well as their compliant advertisers, of course. So Mike Davis, a fellow over at the Federalist Society, which is the judicial organization that promotes conservative judges, 6 of the 9 justices who serve on the Supreme Court are members of the Federalist Society. He tweeted out to Musk that he ought to name and shame the advertisers who are succumbing to the advertiser boycotts so we can counter boycott them. And Musk replied, and I'm quoting him here, he said, "A thermonuclear name and shame is exactly what will happen if this continues." Now, that's huge. And I think it's huge precisely because of how it ties into this burgeoning parallel economy. Now, a parallel economy, simply put, is made up of consumers who reject the wokeness of mainstream corporations and intentionally engage in financial transactions and exchanges outside those companies' domains. And what this inevitably does is it gives rise to parallel institutions and businesses and sectors that provide alternatives to the woke-infested mainstream institutions, businesses, and sectors. So over the last few years, we've been seeing a massive surge in parallel institutions like, for example, Parallel Media, Breitbart, Epoch Times, Newsmax, this channel, of course. We're seeing a rise of parallel social media or alt tech like Rumble and BitChute and Truth Social and the like. We've seen the rise of parallel currency like crypto. We've seen the rise of parallel school systems like homeschooling, classical Christian schools. I mean, homeschooling has surged over 700% in some parts of this nation over the last 2 years. It's amazing. Of course, we're seeing the rise in parallel colleges, conservative colleges, Christian colleges that are actually flourishing while other colleges are seeing across the board decline in their enrollment. Alternative payment processing systems like GabPay, parallel medical insurance like healthcare cost-sharing organizations that the Amish have been using for decades. But here's the key in all of this. The impetus, the propulsion, the thrust that's driving the parallel economy is what's called consumer politics. And this is precisely what Elon Musk is advocating here. Consumer politics involves customers intentionally buying from companies that promote and support our political commitments on the one hand, while at the same time refusing to purchase from those companies that actively oppose our politics on the other. And so consumer politics generally involves what are called boycotts and boycotts, right? So boycotts are the refusal, obviously, to purchase from companies that offend our political values. But boycotts are intentional purchases from companies that support and protect our political values. And so what Musk is doing here is he's threatening to take the boycotting to a whole new level. Now, he said it himself. He's prepared to go full thermonuclear on these companies that think complying with the most woke, neurotic activists on the planet is more important than supporting your right to to free speech. And if Musk goes on the offensive like that and begins naming and shaming these advertisers across the board, that as far as he believes, and I'm sure the rest of us believe, if he names and shames these advertisers that are against free speech and we all collectively boycott their products, that of course entails the flip side to that, which is what's called massive boycotts. That means that for every single business that's named and shamed, there is inevitably going to be an alternative to that woke business that we can intentionally support. So if Musk goes through with that threat, we can be sure that from the ashes of that thermonuclear naming and shaming, there's going to arise a parallel economy like we never imagined. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and you'll definitely want to check out my latest video just uploaded on what the Paul Pelosi attack really is all about. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.